Merry meet and welcome. Welcome to the realms of mysticism, the occult, and magic, where your possibilities are only limited by your imagination. Welcome to the Witch's Cauldron and discover the knowledge you seek. Gather round the cauldron and even stay for a spell. Brightest blessings to you. Merry meet and welcome to the Witch's Cauldron. My name's Paula. Today's video is on the total lunar eclipse in Taurus that we will be experiencing on November the 8th. Got to do a little bit of a rewind here because it is eclipse season. We had a solar eclipse back on the 25th of October. Eclipse season is in full swing. And for those of you who are not that familiar with what eclipse season means and how the energies of an eclipse can affect us, we can begin to feel the pull of the eclipse about a month beforehand and up to 6 months after the eclipse. So these energies are going to be in play through like spring of 2023. November is a huge month of change, energetically speaking. The focus for about the last, I want to say 8 to 9 months, is letting go of the old, getting rid of what no longer serves you, so that something better, something new, something more uplifting can come in to replace it. And this means letting go of relationships, jobs, circumstances, habits, chemical dependencies, thought-based things that are no good for you, not feeling like you are enough, that you find yourself lacking. That's one of the things that I have worked on my entire adult life, and I still find myself lapsing back into those old habits. So it's, there to put the reminder that, let go of the old, something new will come along, and it's going to be even better than what you thought. Now, be mindful that lunar eclipses correlate to closure, completion, or it sometimes shines a light on things that could have been hidden from you, or it can also refer to things that you previously did not know that you may be unearthing during this period of time. I know the beginning of October, I unearthed a bunch of stuff that I was not mentally prepared to unearth. And it knocked me flat on my hiney when I started uncovering things. So just be mindful that started about a month. It started October 4th. So about a month before this lunar eclipse, but it was within that month before the solar eclipse. So this total lunar eclipse will occur on November 8th at 3:01 a.m. Pacific. We will be in standard time, so it will be 3:01 Pacific Standard Time, which This equates to 6:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the East Coast of the U.S., and that would be 11:01 a.m. in the UK, because I believe you guys are off daylight savings time at that time as well. So you may want to see where this falls in your chart because of that tie to culmination, closure, or having the light shown on something that you weren't aware of before. And the duration of totality is 1 hour and 25 minutes. And that's really pretty long for totality. The partial coverage is 5 hours, 54 minutes. Now, the eclipse path is over Northeast Europe, Asia, Australia, North and South America, and the Antarctic. Okay. This will be particularly important for Scandinavia, Central Europe, particularly Italy and Switzerland, the northwest corner of South America, are going to probably come into some kind of prominence during this eclipse period. Now, at the time of the total lunar eclipse, we have 6 planets in fixed signs. And if you have any of your placements in the fixed signs of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius between 12 and 20 degrees, hello, Leo with the Scorpio rising here, yay for me, I get the double whammy here. So you may feel a very restless feeling in those houses where those Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius placements are, okay? And especially if you have something, one of your placements falls around 16 degrees of Taurus, this is more intense. It's also more having you feel more restless and a desire for newness and change. It's like you'll notice that the pinky hair is gone, and I've gone to more of kind of a gunmetal color now. So this is where Paula's restlessness usually starts, is with 1, hacking my hair off, and 2, making it change colors. So, gone are my pinks, and now we're back to gunmetal, or manic panic alien gray is my friend. That's all I'm going to say. So the planets that are in the fixed signs are the Sun, Mercury, and Venus are all in Scorpio. Saturn is in Aquarius, and Uranus and the Moon are in Taurus. The eclipsed moon is stuck between the North Node at 13 degrees 24 Taurus and Uranus at 16 degrees 56 minutes of Taurus. Now, total eclipses tend to be the wild card. And this is even more true because the moon is so tightly conjunct to Uranus, with Uranus being the planet of chaos and the unexpected. You never know what Uranus is going to do in this type of an alignment. Also, during this period of time, eclipses pull more on the Earth's tectonic plates. So this could be an uptick in earthquakes and volcanoes, or the earthquakes could manifest in the political or financial arenas, with the north-south nodes being in Taurus and Scorpio. Scorpio being, governments and control, and Taurus being financial, etc., etc., etc. You do the math. It's also it also could bring shocking news and information to the forefront. Truths are really starting to come out. The 8th is also midterm elections in the United States. And there's a lot of tension in general because the pundits, the political pundits in the United States are predicting, it's going to go down to the wire if we're going to have a change in power in with the Democrats losing prominence and Republicans gaining prominence. Could the Democrats retain and power? It's all a crapshoot, and it is unknown. So that can also be very prominent in everything going on in the United States. There's a lot of tension in the chart for this lunar eclipse. And it's not just, it's primarily because the fixed planets are in a fixed T-square. The Sun and Mercury are squaring Saturn in Aquarius and in opposition to the North Node, the Moon, and Uranus. So it's highlighting that long-running Saturn-Uranus square that we've talked about for the last 18 months. And it's that control versus freedom. It's top-down rules and regulations versus freedom and personal autonomy. And that can mean different things to different people, of course. But the big tension, it's the past versus the future, control versus freedom, centralization versus decentralization. And especially here in America, there are a lot of people who hold to the tenets that were set forward in our Declaration of Independence and in our Constitution, to put the power in the hands of the people, in other words, decentralized, versus having a humongous federal government. Bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger seems to be the solution to everybody. More government, more government, more government. And that's not, a lot of people are really kind of pushing back that they want more control to go back to the states. So there's a whole, unrest and civil unrest, especially when truths start coming to the forefront. I think there's going to be some really pretty shocking truths come out on both sides of the spectrum, and the people in the middle are just pissed off. And that's kind of the boat that I'm in. It's like all these on the ends are making all the noise, and those 90% of us that are not extreme one way or the other, we're being drowned out. So, it's up to us to take the power back and give the power to the people, and not continue these investments in these bureaucracies that are just so overwhelming that it's mind-boggling. So, a lot of people are wanting to give the power back to the communities because local communities usually know what the local needs are and how the people think. And we vary in region to region, country to country about what we find our values to be, because my values growing up being a child from Appalachia are very different than someone, let's say, who grew up in the 60s and 70s during the time where I did, 80s, when I was a young adult. Than those, like from somebody dealing with issues in the inner city. Poverty is poverty, but the issues at the core of the poverty are different between those regional areas of the United States. So just keep that in mind. Saturn always wants us to keep the status quo and not break things up. Okay? Where Uranus, that break the rules, carry us forward, carry us into the future. Okay? Something's got to give. And that means either tectonic or behaviorally. And I would not be surprised if there is even greater civil unrest. We're seeing it all over the world with the protests in Iran and in Germany and all over the world about the treatment of women in Iran. It also lends us to greater geomagnetic instability, which is Uranus in Taurus. Uranus, that planet of chaos, shaking things up, right? So we have had a lot of coronal mass ejections, M-class and X-class flares, and sometimes in the past couple of years, we have seen more happen in a day than we had the entire time of 2018. On October the 9th of 2022, we had the biggest gamma ray ejection from the sun that has ever been recorded. And these energies are bringing in new information from, I'm going to say it, from galaxies and realms beyond, and that we are trying to assimilate this energy because it's part of our evolution for humanity to evolve to a higher power, to a higher and heightened state of consciousness, and how we fit into the cosmos. What these extra energies are kind of doing is bombarding our bodies. All right. So you probably got aches, pains. You may have ringing in your ears or tinnitus, dizziness, insomnia, extreme fatigue. And it's all because we are, as humanity, getting a rapid upgrade. All right. With Saturn being in this T-square that I just spoke about, there are going to be even more attempts to control and censorship. I think that as more of these instances about suppressing the truth to, how can I say it, to just serve somebody's political agenda or a party's political agenda, that's that you see in China. That's not that you're supposed to see in the United States, where, we always throw that out, freedom of speech. Well, not so much. If you don't agree with somebody, they will, flag you. They will report you. If you express any opinion different than what the powers that be put out, you get hammered. You just get hammered. And that's one reason why my social media presence the past couple of years has been very low. You don't see me tweet a lot about anything other than letting you know if something makes me laugh or giggle, or I have a new video out. That's about the only time that I am on social media too much anymore, other than posting videos here for you guys, because I love my little cauldron coven, as I call you guys. So, with Sun, Mercury, and Venus in Scorpio, this could really manifest in your personal relationships as well, with Venus at 20 degrees 13 Scorpio. And if that happens to fall in your 5th or 7th houses, then those are the relationship houses, right? So this could bring up feelings of jealousy, possessiveness, trying to control your partner, possibly feeling manipulated by your partner. This can all bubble up during this period of time. Now, with Uranus tightly conjunct to the moon in Taurus and the North Node, squared by Saturn, which is government and control, there will be more centralized government digital currencies coming out. Now, remember, Aquarian and Uranian energies want us to move to decentralize, right? The energy of Uranus always wants to surge forward, and Saturn is sometimes the reality check. There may be more attempts at censorship, especially because Saturn squares Mercury, and Mercury is in Scorpio, which is the sign of secrets. Scorpio is all about secrets. Scorpio is linked to deep, dark secrets that have been suppressed for a very long time. It's linked to anything underhanded, underground, and usually involves financial or sexual crimes and big money involved. This total lunar eclipse will put us into complete darkness so that we can come back to the light and have the truth come out, and to reveal what shady, underhanded shit has been going on. Pardon my French. Now, Mercury in Scorpio is also tightly quincunx to Uranus, which is a planet of truth and clarity. The eclipse is conjunct to the ruling planet of the Federal Reserve, the moon. The Fed was set up on the 23rd of December in 1913 at 6:02 p.m. in Washington, D.C. I mentioned earlier that the election is, in the midterm elections in the U.S. are on the 8th. And, many polls on the East Coast open at 6 a.m. And then they close at usually 7 p.m., 7 or 8 p.m. on the East Coast. I do not think that the midterm elections are going to go well. I think there is going to be screaming from both sides about election rigging. And I think there could further be, because of all these additional flares and surges and everything like that, I think we're going to have technology issues. Mars is particularly strong during this whole period. It went retrograde on October 30th at 25 degrees 36 Gemini, and it will not move direct again until January the 12th of next year. And this is going to heighten that aggression. I think there may be some really ugly riots and everything else that happened, a couple of summers ago. And Mars is going to be out of bounds, which is just basically saying it's outside the ecliptic that planets usually stay within, okay? This gives you a feeling with Mars being aggressive and assertive. Mars, is a warrior, and it can make things feel completely out of control, extreme, or those are the kind of shadow things. On the positive side, you could have like a freaking epiphany of sorts in your thoughts and come up with like some kind of really brilliant idea. But there's going to be shifts in perception and ways of thinking that can help us reframe the information that's revealed to us, okay? It also is a time for us to reflect personally about our actions, our thoughts, and everything. So Mars is going to be in a long-term square to Neptune in Pisces, which will become exact November 19th at 22 degrees of Pisces and Gemini. And this is great energy for spiritual action and awakening, but it can bring a fog and a sense of deception into the information. You have to think logically and not with your heart during this period of time, because your emotions are going to be boom. So I liken this is going to be my Queen of Swords, okay, period of time for the next 6 months, because the Queen of Swords is the one who cuts through the bullshit to get to the core of the truth. So you may want to try, if you're interested in doing lunar magic, you may want to pull out the old, tarot and work some tarot spells. And you may want to feature that old Queen of Swords in your spells. This is going to be a reminder. You cannot control the shitty actions of other people, but you can control how you personally react to them. Do you prefer to just blow up and make a complete ass of yourself like they do? Or do you sit back and reserved and then you just eviscerate them with the truth? And, my folks that I used to work with used to tell me, say, Paula, we know when you lean back in your chair and you're doing one of these and you do the one eyebrow thing, that you're getting ready to tell us all to go to hell, but you're going to make us look forward to the trip. And that's pretty much what this energy is. You need to sit back, take it all in, and then tap into that Queen of Swords and cut to the chase, cut to the truth, cut through the bullshit to get to it. And there's going to be a lot of fear-mongering. And I'm saying that through all the legacy media, mainstream media, whatever you want to call them. Remember I said this side and the 90% of us in the middle are getting drowned out. They are going to try to make you afraid of everything. They're going to make you afraid to come out of your own daggone house. So if you can really focus on staying grounded, centered, try staying focused on looking inward. If I can't fix the stuff around me if I don't fix myself first. It's kind of like the airplane thing. If the, oxygen masks pop down, put on yours immediately before you try and help somebody else. Because guess what? By the time you might get that mask on, a child sitting next to you, you're not going to be able to. You need to take care of you first before you can take care of somebody else. Just remember that. And we're kind of going to be in that state of mind until about March 2023. This period of time is a period where we as humanity are almost being put through a crucible so that we can ascend, so that humanity humanity, those of us, here on Earth, rather than floating around in space somewhere, those of us here on Earth can see. And you have to let me put it this way. You will want to invest in things that bring you joy, love, peace, compassion, gratitude, and appreciation. Okay? While you may not have as much money in your pocket, if you have a roof over your head, you're still able to pay your rent. Might be a little colder in your house because you can't afford to, leave the lights on like you normally would, or you can't afford the increase in fuel prices and stuff. So you're like, all right, I'm going to take my thermostat down where I normally would set my thermostat at like 68 degrees during the day. I throw it down to like 58 or 60 at night because you know what? I sleep with 4 dogs in my bed. So I do not want for heat at night because of that. I've got 4 little furry buddies help keeping my feet warm at night. So I'm going to leave this video here. I will come back and do a video when we come around to the new moon later in November. So I hope that this helped. Oh, before I forget, for those of you who are magical practitioners, a lot of magical practitioners don't do eclipse magic at all. They just sit in quiet contemplation and try and tap into the energy that way. Fine, you do you. I like to maximize the bang for my buck, but then again, I've been doing this for 20 years, and I am not new. If you are a new magical practitioner, I highly just proceed with caution and make sure that you're an adept at make sure you're an adept at working with energy before you attempt eclipse magic. So at 6:01 a.m. East Coast, U.S., the moon is in Taurus all day. So usually your full moon magic, you work it the night before, the night of, the night after. I would highly suggest that you stick with the actual date and time of the eclipse. Because there is moon void, of course, periods on both sides of the eclipse, the actual day of the eclipse on the 8th. So with that, my friends, I hope you enjoyed the video. This is hella long. I'm sorry. I yak too much. So with that, my friends, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Consider becoming a member of the channel to help support the channel. And with that, my friends, as I always say, merry we did meet, merry we will part until we merry meet again. Be well and walk in love and light, everybody. Bye.